evening, wherever you are listening to this. Welcome back to the Black Film Critic-ish podcast. We're back here once again. I am your host with the most, your girl Peace, and today we are talking about the fantastic movie Parasite. Now, if y'all do not know what movie this is, all I'm going to say is this movie won 4 Oscars. That alone should speak volumes on the kind of movie this is. But let me talk about it a little bit more. So this is a South Korean movie directed by Bong Joon-ho. And it's essentially the story of a poor family that infiltrates a rich family. It starts off as the son becoming the English tutor for the rich man's daughter, and he finds a way to get his whole entire family positions with the rich family. He got his dad to become the driver of the family. He's the tutor. He got his mom to be the housekeeper / cook, and his sister to be the art therapist. Now, the craziest part about this movie is that the rich family does not know that they're all related. They do not know a single thing, but we as the audience do. So it's kind of like, OMG, when will they find out? What happens when they find out? Oh my God, what, who? Yeah, that's the kind of movie it is. But this is also a dark dramedy, a drama, comedy, dramedy. Yes. So if you have not watched this movie, this will be your one and only reminder, your one and only spoiler alert. That's major spoilers are ahead. Now, as usual, I will go over the script of the movie. So this is a social satire to show how one's socioeconomic status affects how one sees the world and acts. For example, this was perfectly shown in the scene when there was a rainstorm. The rich people were thinking, oh my God, that's beautiful. Wow, look at that. While the poor people were essentially freaking out using buckets to take water out their windows, out their now flooded rooms. Also, in the opening scene, the neighborhood was being fumigated, and the poor family was like, oh yeah, just leave the windows open, free fumigation. That alone from the beginning, from the jump, should show you what kind of movie and the goal they had in mind for this movie. The script made this movie funny, clever, whimsical, and all of the above. I like how this movie portrayed that the less fortunate are smart, which is really the opposite of what we're used to in Hollywood movies. Because if you think about it, that's more realistic. If you're poor, you have to be scrappy, you have to think outside the box to make ends meet. So I really like how the movie portrayed that. For example, my roommate, she learned how to cook, how to bake, how to do hair, how to do nails, how to do lashes, all because she was a broke college student and couldn't afford to pay anyone. Like I said, scrappy. Another thing that this movie and the script showed was that he didn't tell. And I can say that that was truly the essence of this movie. The way the script is written, you can tell the characters don't have to tell you anything. You don't have to ask them, they don't have to tell you, oh, I'm feeling sad, oh, I'm feeling this way. You can see it through the screen. You can feel it through the screen. Now, let's talk about the turning point when this movie gets less funny and more dark and crazy. And it's scary because it's realistic, it's possible, a little bit wild, but very, very possible. For example, the OG housekeeper Moon Gwang, and apparently her name means door opens and craziness comes in. So that was kind of foreshadowing of many instances of when craziness came in. For example, the first infiltration of when the tutor was hired. Also, when Moon Gwang was fired, she came back because she quote unquote forgot something. Whole time, the thing she forgot was her husband. So once again, craziness was coming in, fully embodying her name. Speaking of more craziness, let's talk about how Moon Gwang's husband, the one who was living in the basement, stabbed and killed the art therapist, Kevin's sister. Or when the poor dad killed the rich dad because he smelled. And this is definitely not how Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad book wanted. But if you know, you know. And how the rest of the family fled, the rest of the rich family fled. But we can't talk about the script without talking about how the movie ends. The end of the movie shows the father, the poor father, now living in the rich house basement. And he writes a letter to his son, Kevin, saying that one day he'll save enough money to buy the house so they can be reunited. And at the very ending, Kevin was singing a song titled 2000 Years, basically implying that that's how long it would take for his dad to save enough for that to happen. All in all, this was a fantastic movie. If you have not watched it, you definitely need to. The movie switches from comedy to horror like that. And at the end of the movie, you're kind of disturbed. When you walk out of the theater, you will forget how the movie made you feel. And that right there, that is the true power of a great movie. But more specifically, the true power of a great script. Thank you.
Peace, that was beautiful. Okay, so the setting for the movie takes place in Seoul. Seoul is considered Beverly Hills in South Korea. The Kim's family is considered the poor family. Their house took place on like a underground, dark alleyway. It was very junky, very crowded, and they would see any and everything just walk by. The Parks lived on the wealthy side. It was a big area with different businesses, different families, and diplomats. The costume part of the movie, they mainly focus on the two social classes. As you can see, the Kims dressed in more of a dingy and baggy clothing when they would go and visit the parks. They had bigger suits. Their button-ups were like a little oversized, and their hair was a little greasy. It was. The Parks had a more clean, crisp look, even with their hair, and their blouses were very white, and their button-ups were tight and fit around the collar.
When it comes to the music in Parasite, the director worked with the musical director Jung Jae II, who actually wrote a 7-minute classical piece called The Belt of Faith, which flows seamlessly with the Peach sequence that's also in the movie. And this is played when each member of the Kim family executes their master plan to get rid of the mansion's longstanding housekeeper. And so it's kind of this haunting tune, but also a little maniacal, if that makes sense, to showcase musically how the Kims were plotting against the original housekeeper to fully infiltrate this family's jobs with the Parks. So then there's also this Italian song that's played in the movie as well, which shocked a lot of viewers since it is a Korean movie. It's called In Ginocchio da Te. It's by Gianni Morandi, and it plays whenever members of the Kim family are kneeling, which is also happening while the housekeeper is recording them, showing that they're all related. And so the direct translation of the title of the song is called Kneeling in Front of You, which the director did state that that was a coincidence that he used that song with that translation at the same moment when the Kims are kneeling as they're being recorded. And so even though it was a coincidence, it still gives some sort of meaning to having that song in there whenever the housekeeper is finding out essentially their plan. And then, as Peace was stating earlier, there's also the song that the son who started the whole plan sings at the end of how long it would take for him to gain enough money to actually be able to buy that house and reunite with his dad, which showcases that class struggle, which is the overarching theme of the whole film.
So Parasite has a really interesting way of portraying social class through their camera work and editing. For the very first scene, we're introduced to the Kim's family home, and the camera pans downwards with a bit of light, but it's dim. However, when we were first introduced to the Parks home, the camera pans upwards and the lighting is very bright. The sun can even be seen in the scene. I believe this to be a symbolic reference to the different social classes these two families are in. When you look at specific scenes, there is a drastic change in lighting. Whenever the Kims are at the Parks home, the lighting is bright as if there is hope in their future out of poverty. However, when the film turns downwards towards its darker points, the lighting is very dim, such as the scene where they discover the basement where the old housekeeper's husband, Jun Se, lives. There's a big focus on the scholar stone in the camera work, which tells us, the audience, that this is a very important symbol. It serves as a stone for good luck. The stone is shown again a few times throughout the film, but I want to bring up a specific time. This was when it was found throughout the flooding of the Kim's home. To me, this served as a sign of hope during despair. The Kim family, along with their neighborhood, are losing so many valuables and are seen scrambling to save items. We see Ki Woo only go after the stone as if he's still hoping for things to get better for his family and that they can get out of poverty. We still see him in the shelter clinging to the stone, so he has a strong will for hope. In the birthday scene, where both Ki Jung and Park Dong-ik get stabbed, is a very important scene. It shows that despite the drastic difference in social class, both the Kim and the Park family are human. Humans bleed and die the same despite their different lives. This scene is also important because it shows that both families are morally the same. We already know that the Kim family was using the Park family to get out of poverty, so now the camera shows Park Dong-ik to be more concerned with leaving for his own safety instead of the safety of his employees, as he demands the car keys from King Ki-taek. The camera portrays foreshadowing as well. This is seen when the Kim family plans for a way to get rid of the old housekeeper, Moon Gwang. In this scene, the family is seen eating a pizza where they pour a red sauce on one of the spices. And then when Moon Gwang has a coughing fit from an allergic reaction from peaches, which is also another setup from the Kim family, Kim Ki-taek frames her for having tuberculosis and pours the same sauce on the napkin she coughed into, and shows it to the madam of the house. So it does this whole like showing the red sauce really does show this foreshadowing. So I just thought that was like a really interesting foreshadowing point that they used in the camera work.
That's definitely an interesting part. I didn't even think about that. Um, Back in 2009, when I watched Parasite, I was not 2009, 2019 when it first came out. When I watched it, I was just watching it because it was popular. But going back and actually looking at everything and taking in everything that y'all said and looking at the casting, I could see how much time and effort was like actually put into this film. The casting of Parasite is basically really simple. The director Bong Joon-ho stated that with Parasite he really wanted to be honest, so he didn't think it would spread to like random hope to the audience. He didn't think that the audience, would really feel for the characters. He really just wanted to reflect on the truth of the current times that were happening in South Korea. So basically, two Korean families in Seoul, South Korea, living two different lifestyles that were basically able to capture raw emotions, deception, and could invoke the audience to feel like they were a part of both families in a sense. Joon-ho related to his audience no matter what country they were in, which is why, he won a big award. But by casting a family, first the Kim family who's struggling to make ends meet, and is basically down to their desperation. Now, most families wouldn't take on jobs in the home of, the wealthy deceitfully, but there are families who are overworked, underpaid, and are doing their best to make ends meet. But on the opposite spectrum, this film could also appeal to parents who aren't exactly sure how to take care of their children, or aren't exactly the closest of the family and might need to reach out to help, or to children who feel like their parents aren't always there for them even though they have this wealthy lifestyle. This can appeal to a variety of audiences. The actual cast had a few things to say about their characters. Like, for example, the father of the Kim family,
he was someone who was supposed to at first in the film have no backbone, who's indecisive, but he's also an ineffectual as a leader of his household. So though he wants to, be that person, he doesn't necessarily get there. The son of the Kim family, he's supposed to be ambitious and driven and have big aspirations, but he has a real scrappy approach to pursuing them. And him and his sister, they, as you can see, they're very close in the film, but they have a very close bond. And his sister is supposed to be kind of a raw artistic talent that plays, her role in the family. The actor said actually that when she first received the script, it was as if she wrote it herself. So it kind of felt very natural for it coming to her. The mother of the Kim family, she was, supposed to be practical and protective and resourceful. And we could see that, in the film, but we could also see the other side of her that, is willing to do anything to protect her family. Now the mother of the Park family, who actually received an acting award in South Korea, which is equivalent to an acting award for the Oscars. She was supposed to be extravagant and rich. And rich and wealthy people, the mothers are really used to having a bright world that's full of freshness, but it was interesting that she was actually kind of trapped in this box. The director said that she kind of made for herself in her home. And then, the father of the Park family, yes, he's a powerful and wealthy man, but, despite his household staff, he doesn't really care too much for the working class people. He has 2 children. I mean, yeah, he has 2 children, but he's not necessarily the exact father that they need him to be in that moment. And then the housekeeper of the film, who also actually received the same award as the mother in the Park family, she states that she remembers saying that this is going to be an interesting and strange film because she hadn't done anything like this before. But at the end of the day, director Bong Joon-ho states that it was more like putting these characters together in a controlled environment and watching the chemical reactions unfold, seeing how they interacted with each other, and then guessing on how the audience was going to feel about them.
All right, so the question asks, how can films help make us understand more about globalism and class differences? So Parasite definitely showed the difference between classes and socioeconomic status. You guys saw the movie, everything from the script to the casting to the actors to the movie to the screenplay to everything. Parasite definitely shows the difference in everything that it did in every scene. And that was it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Black Film Critic-ish podcast. Until next time.